You're listening to the C1D Paintball Podcast.
Hey, Andrew, C1D Paintball. You may be listening to this on the podcast, the C1D Paintball Podcast. If so, you don't know why I started there for a sec, because if you're watching it on YouTube, we got the screens up here bouncing around. We got producer Connor that's had this nice setup for us, and I thank him. We may not hear his voice, but he's got his fingerprint on everything here. And joining tonight, today, this morning, whenever the hell you're listening, but it's night for us right now. We got Mike. He waved. It's
How's
an
it
audio.
going?
Yeah, I was going to say audio podcast. Make yourself heard. That's his voice. So now when you hear him, when you're driving to work, you'll know. We also have Nick joining us.
Hey guys.
And last but certainly not least, a man who's really becoming a jack of all trades. I think he is essentially Thomas's protege, trying all different things in paintball. Michelangelo.
What's up, guys?
All right. We do have Thomas, Norm, and of course producer Connor are listening. So those are our three views. Good job. Good job. Okay. So we're recording this the day after. And I think we called the paintball series, or I called the paintball series, that's what it's called, Far, Far Away. Or is that what I called it? No, Far, Far Away doesn't sound right. It's a Star Wars thing. Now I'm going to look.
That's something like that. A far away.
It is Far, Far Away, see? I'm going to hear Connor screaming is in the room next to me.
Far away from me.
So, yeah, for your drive. So we had a good time yesterday at the field. And I do have three topics to discuss. I'm sure we're going to go all kinds of places. But the main thing is I'd like to hear what everybody just, the overall day. And let's start with the newest. Well, no, there's two new people. Let's start with the old people then. Mike, what did you think of yesterday? Just in a couple of minutes here, we'll each take a turn.
I had a good time. It was the first hot day of the year. Well, I mean, I thought it was hot with all the gear on and stuff. So I was fighting with that, sweating and breathing. But overall, it was a really good day. We had a good time. Yeah, me and my wife. We played a lot. It was a long day too. Normally, we usually get done a little earlier. We stayed for the whole thing and played with a couple different groups of people, and it's a good time.
Well, one guy who stays from start to finish all the time is Nick. Nick, how'd it go yesterday for you, in your eyes?
It was a good day, but like Mike said, it was we're not still the heat yet. We lost it over the winter, but now it's getting hotter and hotter. So, but overall, it was a pretty good day, especially afternoon after lunch.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy I stayed. I usually don't stay after lunch. I'm happy I stayed. But here's the thing about the heat. Before we go to Michelangelo, it was cold at first, but we had about a half-hour period where everything was perfect, and then we got too hot. Michelangelo, how did your day go?
Pretty awesome. I mean, it was the first day I was using the pump, so I mean, you got that little, I guess, honeymoon thrill out of that, and then it just warming up right as you sweat, so like you're not getting cold from the cold. So it was good. But honestly, I think I ate my words on there's not going to be any bugs, because from like 1 o'clock I had bugs like flying through my vents, and I'm like, how the hell is this even happening right now?
I had one in my shield and like my mask.
Like going through the vents. Yeah, it was nuts.
Guys, bring bug spray. Y'all didn't believe me. There you go. Andrew knows.
Oh yeah, always have it. Connor got eaten alive too. That bright white mask will track you. By the way, Mikey did play with a pump. At one point in the day, he was behind the green monster. Now I didn't know he was there. And there was one of these four guys that joined us for the day. There's four buddies. I'd say they're probably late teens, early 20s. Oh no, the teens, I think, actually. A couple of baby faces there.
They're like 14, 16 years old.
Yeah, good players. But he was around the corner of the green monster, and I was going to go behind him, and Mikey pops out, and I just popped him right on the hand, right on the wrist, and he had the poor pump marker. I felt bad, but I eliminated him. If it makes you feel better, Mikey, that kid I was going to get got me back right away. Actually, you know who didn't have? You know who had a lot of fun yesterday? but just wasn't rewarded for it. None other than Norm, who's in the chat, because his shots were bouncing. Bastard hit me in the throat. Nice shot, but didn't break. He put a couple off Connor's back when he was running for the away with the flag. Didn't break. So his aim was going, but his luck was shit.
There was a lot of bouncing going on yesterday, I noticed.
Did you? I think a lot of guys did like me, and I had a mixture of. I had a handful of winter balls left. I had those beautiful graffiti balls, and I had the regular field balls, which are still very good, but I just had a mix of those, so I can't tell you what was. I'm assuming the winter balls were shooting the shittiest.
I think it was the humidity.
Shot a winter ball because it would just explode midair.
Connor said they
So
leave
we're
bruises.
mostly in
Yes,
that area.
we'll have Connor walk in here and
We're in
model
that-
his bruises. He seemed to take them in the love handles.
We're in that weird period where it's not too hot, not too cold, so the balls don't warm up during the day. They stay in that mild temperature, so they're not gonna pop that easy.
Now we had yesterday. There was
You feel it.
Oh yeah, you do feel it. But I never used graffiti balls before. So I did clear a couple of mags that just had them in it with not the mix group there. And it's like night and day.
Yeah,
okay,
they were great.
Now we had 3 other groups there, which is, and I won't really break stuff down like this when we do this, but it was interesting because we had, of course, you have to have a bachelor party at the paintball field. They were there in the afternoon. They seemed to be a group about 6 to 8 guys, I think there were.
5.
Big
No,
six.
5 guys. Well, there we go. That
Five.
was nice of them.
The
The morning.
Came, but later on.
Oh, okay. We mentioned the 4 young guys, the teens that joined us, that were pretty cool. And I believe, Nick, you said they might even come out in a couple of weeks and join us again.
Yeah, they said they should be there on the 18th at our next game.
Cool. And we
Nice.
actually, I've never seen a kids party that young. I mean, I think we're talking 9, 10-year-old out there. And they all look like
and
wine
the
glasses.
masses too.
It was, they had a good
There
time.
was a ton of them.
There was a ton of them, and Connor and I actually played a game against them, and the stuff my so-called C1D teammates were screaming at us from the catwalk was just, it was embarrassing. It's like, there's children here, guys. What are you talking about? But
Oh man, that was so good.
the big topic I do want to talk about tonight is market. What do you think of the redesigned market field, the market map? Because I know that Thomas, who's listening, loves that. What do you think of it? And we're going to start with Michelangelo this time. What do you think of the new layout there?
Market on. What I like is how the strong points where you get good angles. I feel like the bunkers don't offer as much coverage. So as that position gives you a lot more reward, like as it's a high reward position, obviously the risk factor is like greater. So I kind of like that aspect. Gives a bit of a thrill. Like if you want to push and try to get those hits, those kills, well, you're gonna have some paintballs flying at you. That's for sure.
Shit, I forgot to give my opinion on the last thing. Yeah, it's you got an angle and a lot more. First of all, you're not going to have a lot of the new players and kids hiding in White House. And I'm just amazed without that there, even though you have these 2 big crates, it still offers a lot of cover, but it just opens up the field. It makes the field so nice and wide. And the way they took out the 3 stack and they added a pallet of little drums there, it just added a nice wide element to it. Although there was one open side, the main road that comes up, there's kind of a dead area. I know Connor mentioned it. I'm going to look through his camera, maybe get your opinions on it, because I didn't actually go to that side of the field. But it was a pretty open ground, and well, I think you tried to flank Connor, Michelangelo. You tried to flank him late in the game on that side. And Nick, what do you think of the new setup?
I love the new setup. The way they put it out makes less barriers and less things in the way. You can run a little bit more. Supposedly it's not finished either. They're still going to be changing it up during the season. And no, without that White House, funny fact though, no, they can't stay in the White House anymore and they're more open. But if you ask Norm, he still got shot in the back of the head from his own teammate because they fight the stones.
Okay, Okay, this is the part. Don't worry, Mike. I'll let you talk. Right after Norm, see, his balls were bouncing except when his teammates hit him in the back of the head. I watched that as it happened, and I actually went to taunt him as getting off the field. I didn't know he was team killed, and I'm like, "Hey, are you getting off the field?" And then a bunch of things happened because Nick hears me talking, being an asshole, and he pops his head over the barrier, and he says, he freezes me. And as that happens, 2 shots hit the barrier, like somebody, my team's shooting at me to get him, and then Nick gets one in the neck. And as I walk off the field, I look down and I notice white on my sleeve. Before all that shit happened, Thomas had actually hit me, and I didn't see it. So this is where I apologize. Sorry, Thomas. There's one more kill you got that I stripped away from you, man. Mike,
He had enough that day. Don't give him any.
Actually, I'll talk about Thomas in a second. Actually, Mike, your thoughts on the field?
I think I only played 2, maybe 3. Yeah, I think like 3 games. So I didn't really get a good aspect on it. But what I do like is what they did taking out the White House. But what I did notice on the other side, I guess the west side, it just seems like you really got to get out of spawn real quick because there's nowhere's. I just don't think there's anywheres to go or cover unless you stay behind that main block. But like Thomas said, the big crate on the other side, it's just like once you get behind it, you can't see any of the field, and it's like kind of leaves yourself vulnerable. You're protected, but you can't see what's going on. So when you got to move, you have no idea what's going on. But I do really like the changes that they got going on, and
And
I'm
of course,
excited to see what else they got.
some of the trees will fill out too. That might do something on that open spot on the road there, but the trees will fill it out, and it should be all right. But no, I thought it was.
I didn't get into the internals of it much. I kind of stayed back, and on the outside, stay away from Michelangelo and that pump, Miranda.
Well, I tell you what, and actually, we're talking about teams getting set up. Is we did Connor's popsicle stick experiment, where we all drew sticks and we had our teams. And I guess Mike, you're on my team. Nick, Michelangelo were on the other team. Also on my team, we had Connor. We had Jay. We had, who else did we have? We had Jeff, and we had Nevin. So that meant Miranda on the other side as well, Thomas. And who am I forgetting? Oh, Norm. Now, on that field, I noticed it as I'm starting to edit the videos, is Thomas would haul to Stonehenge, and he seemed to have a beeline on just shutting it down. He went behind there every time. He used his speed. I don't know if he was that comfortable because I thought it was so open. I did not want to go in the midfield. I think I only went twice. But I think he was there to try to.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
I think we inflated his tires on the last podcast, talking about him and Connor being the fastest, that they're trying to race each other to the middle of the field. That's what I think happened.
Speaking of that, I couldn't believe how. I mean, I know it happens once every time we go out, but that capture the flag game was like 10 seconds. It was ridiculous.
Okay.
When Connor brought that flag.
When you're playing against Connor in capture the flag, you're not going to see him at spawn. You know, when you're sitting there and you see at spawn, you may see his head or something, because there's a dead giveaway, and he doesn't mind me bringing this up because he's the one that mentioned. When I actually recorded that game, I didn't play in it. I looked, I could see from my angle on the sideline, he didn't have his marker in his hand. But if you were watching from the other bunker, he just looked like with his arms, he looked like he might have been holding his marker, because why wouldn't he? And that's the dead giveaway. And before the game, the rest of it, I said, Connor's going to make a run for it. So he made a run for it. But what I said about Thomas runs in the other way. And there were a few shots, people diving for cover. And capture the flag certainly plays different on market than it does village. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I guess we'll talk. We played a few games on Village. Village was nice. There was really those 4 guys that joined us in the morning games in Village. Very good. We're all learning to use the perimeter. Like it just last year when we were learning the field, it was like people would be jamming up the middle. I just found some pretty epic games on that field, and I was quite happy about it. Your guys' thoughts? Any thoughts on the day? Because one of the things I think from these podcasts the day after is just swapping stories on everything that happened in that. You guys never did get to do a 1v1 on Tireball after I left, right? I think that was kind of the end of the day, or well,
No, we were gonna. Then people kind of fizzled out, and I think I ran out of air at the end of the day, and then the other team moved over to the last field, and I think we just kind of fizzled out after that.
Yeah, we are going to have, we talked about it before. It was kind of a joke on the podcast, and I think we're starting to go with it. We are going to have a little 1v1 tournament event thing, a fun one with a little bit of a spin. Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask about the popsicle sticks. I thought it was kind of cool. They could have rebalanced it. I thought it was kind of neat. I wonder if Nick and I didn't keep score. I didn't really keep score. I think they were fairly balanced. I think it's kind of a fun element with that. Mike doesn't care.
I plead the fifth.
You plead the. Oh, there was a couple. I just noticed a video of you screaming like Austin Powers because I guess your team actually managed to win that game.
No, what you saw was Thomas giving me a free striptease.
Oh, that's right. I didn't check the video.
Yeah, that was pre-game.
Yeah, we had some shirt
That was a
lifting,
pre-game
nipple rubbing.
thing.
Yep. I thought it was a wet t-shirt contest personally. I mean, you should have went on one of the trees there and shaken all the morning dew off it. Oh, gee.
Just another day with the C1D crew.
Yep.
Now, we're actually back at it on the 18th, on the Saturday. Now, 2 weekends after that is D-Day, but my son-in-law's coming down. So the weekend in between, on a Sunday, we normally don't play Sundays. We do maybe 1 or 2 a year Sunday. He's going to be down. He wants to play with us. So I figure, we'll get a bunch of our guys out there and just have some fun. You might have seen him play in the New Mexico videos. Now, I think he's fairly new to paintball, but because he was in the U.S. military for 10 years, he used to design scenarios where they would do war games like this. So we got to make sure he doesn't literally physically kill us out there. But he could come up with some ideas.
I think he's
Nice,
gonna
that'll
have
be
good ideas once he sees the fields.
Yeah, I think he actually saw. I might have shown him before the Mirabelle fields. Of course, they got a big diverse thing there, but we need some tips for him so we can dominate on our home field, right? Now, I want to thank Nick because I talked about D-Day. I gave him 2 walkie-talkies for it. It says Lieutenant Gadget on the back of his jersey. When he's not wearing a vest, you can see that. But if he's got the vest, you wouldn't know it. But he programmed a couple of my walkie-talkies, and he's taking more orders. And we're getting closer to D-Day. Michelangelo, the master of all markers, what are you going to run for D-Day?
I don't know, because even playing pump yesterday, I still went through a decent amount of paint. So I feel like if I pull out the speed, I'm gonna spend a little bit more than I want to. So we'll see. Maybe just a regular mech. I might pull out my 98. To be honest,
he's gonna shoot so much paint.
Oh.
They're gonna take a bench and put your name on it because you paid for it in that one day.
Yeah.
Okay, I've asked this to a lot of people.
He
on
paid
the show.
the electrical bill this day.
Exactly. This is the guy who I wanted to see and ask this question. Nick, I think you've heard the other podcast. We asked people what they're running for D-Day. And again, I've mentioned it before. If you want to bring 2 or 3 different setups in that's cool. And I recommend, but you just don't lock into one. Now, I know you like a lot of gear, but right now, in this point in time, Nick, what do you think you're going to be running there?
I honestly don't know yet. I'm still torn between playing MagFed. I just buy a box mag as well.
Yeah.
So I might run maybe my M17. I might run my TMC, or I might just go all the way and run my Phenom.
Box mags holds how many shots roughly? I know there's different
I
sizes.
would say, I think mine holds about 120, 140 maybe.
There's nothing wrong with that when you're used to 19 at a shot like my TMC, which I won't
Oh,
complain
100.
about.
But I mean, I can
Did
still
you
run
ever
my
find your?
Phenom and have the 200 hopper on the Cyclone hopper. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Did you ever find your manual?
I'm bringing all my setups, so I'll decide on that day. I know for a fact Saturday I'm gonna run MagFed. I'm gonna run probably the M17, but we'll see for Sunday. Maybe in the morning I'll play MagFed, and then as thing goes in the afternoon, everybody's hyped up, I'll run to the Phenom. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on what we do out of the gate, because you could imagine the first hour of the game is like intense fighting. Even if somebody establishes the line, they go hard at the line, but usually it's 3 or 4 skirmishes in areas, major battles, and you'll be throwing a lot of paint. But I hope to see if we can get maybe my SUV close to the field instead of going to the upper parking lot, where we can keep like the setup of several people there, so we can just take up one spot and be able to swap out of that. My main concern is batteries personally, but for all my cameras. I lost a camera yesterday. First time ever. Lost a camera.
Man,
We lost one.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
who did that?
The Michelangelo's friend that took me out when I hit him in the arm, Michelangelo, and I went around the Green Monster.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah, I went freeze, and freeze. I usually don't say freeze is optional, but the one exception of for new players. So I went freeze, and he shot, and I said, "Well, freeze, you're out." And he looks at me like startled, and then I notice, because my camera, something's wrong with it. And I look, and it's like just the back of it shattered because it was my POV on the front. So the only thing I thought is, "Oh no, you're still in. I'm out. Yeah, I'm out." All right, so
That's unfortunate.
One sec, Andrew. Just on a side note, I did buy. I just ordered a couple of other walkie-talkies for D-Day. If anybody's gonna need one, I just ordered 6 more.
oh, cool. That's good to have.
Or with the ones that we already on our private frequency, and then we'll have 6 more ready to go.
Yeah, and plus the important part about that is not necessarily 6 different people having them, but you want to have some for the afternoon, because they will they'll last about an hour and a half. We usually turn ours on just at intermittent times when things get started up, and we'll have some runners too. Look, we got a shield. It looks like we'll have a medic, if we're lucky again, assigned to us. And we're going to have lots of options. Michelangelo, he's going to run with the pump and the shield. He's going to go all out at this event. Got those young legs.
The 98.
The pump.
98.
You got 3 arms?
Pardon me? You got 3 arm? Sounds like the start of a dirty joke.
Well, no, if you're running a pump and a shield, I think you'd need 3 arms for that.
He'll just have a little midget on his back pumping him at the same time.
Do that again, Andrew? I didn't see what you did there.
As you do the shake there, like the oh wait, no. I'm thinking Terminator.
I can use my third leg.
There you go.
Good, you're using it for something.
Oh, jeez.
I got to use the soundboard.
You know, one thing, yeah, woo. One thing I wish we would have got in yesterday was when we combine the 3 maps and do capture the flag on 3 maps, putting the flag in the center or something like that. I really enjoyed that, and I forgot to bring that up. I'm always I'm the last one out on the field every single time, so.
Well,
get to do suggestions.
We talked about market, and I mentioned it on the little video that I made about it, how the area behind the White House, the area of trees is thinned out. We could do it next time out, We definitely could try it when Daniel's down, like because that event on the 26th is going to be probably strictly a private event. So if we are lucky enough to get maybe 8 per side, and we can run somebody starting from the back of that forest, because I know the field's not going to be ready, but where Aerodrome is, or whatever they're calling it, terminal, they could start there. Somebody starts in the corner of tires, and we can use that whole area. Or here's an idea: 4 teams of 4,
Yeah, that would be
3 teams of 5. We can have fun with everything there.
You mean like starting 3 maps and 3 different teams?
Put a team in
against each other.
Yeah, why not?
That would be pretty cool.
Actually, here's a rotation tournament. Okay, let's say ideally 3 squads of 5 each. You put 1 in Village, you put 1 in Tire Ball, and you put 1 by the missiles and at Market. Now, obviously, Village is a strong point. What do? You play, I don't know, 10-minute game. You're done. Then you rotate. You each take turn defending one of the things, or not defending, but that's your base. And you get something like 2 respawns. Maybe one of your guys is a medic. It could be organized chaos that you could do in about an hour. 10-minute games, you talk in between and that. And I think it'd be a lot of fun just using those 3 fields. Plus, there's the area between Tire Ball and Village, which we all know is another field. So I think that could be a little good tournament fun. But do we draw popsicle sticks? Because the teams could get really, really bad if we don't divide them up a certain way.
I like that. I like the random. I think we got lucky. They were really pretty even, but I like that whole just not knowing what you're getting yourself into.
I just like the fact that I didn't have to play against Nevin and Connor for an entire day.
Yeah, you haven't played with Connor for a while now too. But like Michelangelo, I had a problem talking there. Was saying we can also do like winter hockey when you do the sticks in the middle of the field. You can just throw a stick on
barrel
each side.
Plugs, yeah.
Everybody is, but nobody knows whose barrel plugs is whose.
Well, whoever picks them turns their back, and then just from the back, just toss them on one side to the other, or close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
I just spent $80 on like custom titanium popsicle sticks. My God, actually, that wouldn't be $80. Titanium won't rust in the woods.
On a side note, I was talking with Eric, the owner of our favorite field, Warzone, and if all goes well, when we come back from D-Day, the 2nd level of base should be completed.
Ooh. Well, it looked pretty damn
Would you
close.
say after we?
Yeah, because we're talking 5 weeks away. So yeah, that gives them plenty of time. The stairs are finished, and I saw the one container there. They built a box around it, and the more they do, the more impressive. It's going to be so much fun having high ground like that on both sides.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun.
I'm really excited.
And there's actually the one thing though is north of it, so going towards the road going up. They are where they're supposed to put a staircase and another level up there too. I think that might be the last thing they're doing with it, because otherwise you've just got one set of stairs going up there.
There, you remember where the white escape is going up the hill?
Yeah.
That whole part is going to become part of base as we go. He's going further up and up and up. Oh, so base is going high.
Oh, where Labyrinth used to be. Wow, that's actually interesting, because see, I like these kind of conversations. I'm in my wheelhouse here, guys. You got a map now where a field. Sorry, because Thomas is going to lose his shit. I keep saying map. You got the admin building as one side, and the containers are these firm left and right barriers. And you'd be adding that area behind it, and the containers ends up like almost like a mid area. That could be very cool done properly. Yeah, the Thomas. Nope, not Labyrinth. The other side. Oh, the other side. Yeah, going up. You mean the other side where admin built? Oh yeah, that one is flattened out in it. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that one's flattened out. I wonder how that would work though. I apologize what I said. I took that totally in the wrong direction. But the admin side would kind of be very long and have a lot more ground. As you could actually add a third team there, by the way, if you're doing a little mini big game.
His plan would be basically the first container when we come down on our left side, so where the containers are, he wants to add another one to there and then add another, continue the second floor all the way. So it would go pretty much maybe halfway up the mountain on both sides.
On both sides. Oh, so he does plan on both sides. I guess, yeah, they can just build into that because there's a lot of rock on the right side. That could be pretty freaking epic. That could be pretty good, actually. Was it Thomas here, parallel with the access road, rotate that field 90 degrees and play it that way? Yeah, there's a lot of options to it there.
That's why a lot of times when we play half the field and we play north-south instead of east-west. Just for that reason, just so much more compact and so much better.
Okay, so let's talk about the 1v1 tournament that we're going to do on base. So using what we've done and modified between the admin building and the road, that's going to be the area for a little 1v1. Now, we want to make it fun. Connor wants to kind of organize that. He's got some good ideas. He wants to be the ref. I'm going to, because I don't want to be embarrassed, I'm going to sit on the second floor of admin, or I may be on the other side at the containers because they're going to be a second floor there. And I'm going to do my color commentary, and we're going to have lots of cameras everywhere. Maybe a drone or two. We're going to overproduce what will be a ridiculously funny, a stupid, and absolute blast of a game. And here's one of the best parts. Each round will have a theme. It may be pistols with limited ammo. It may be 2 pumps. But everybody participating will have this random thing. It's like, this is what we're doing for this round. And I don't know if we're going to do like a wheel where, or however we draw and everything's set. Maybe we have 2 or 3 things. You use this marker and you have limited ammo, or you have A, B, or C. We're going to try to make it,
like
wacky, but doable.
Like the sex dice, like, lick my ear on the couch. You could have like 2 dice, with like these markers and these rules, and then you roll them, and it comes out with the 2 options,
We could use sex dice. Next thing you know, we'll be playing a 1v1.
Or we could just use sex dice and just not even
style
play
in the
paintball.
shower.
That's fine too.
There we go. Hey, we're open-minded.
Exactly.
There you go, I'm just watching. No, but I think we can have fun with this because it won't take very long. We have some sort of timer. And Thomas, the pumps aren't actually the same either. This is why I get Thomas talking on the podcast. Anyway, I think we're going to have the fun with this little 1v1 thing. I do like playing every second. Keep going, Nick.
The 1v1s, when we just finished eating lunch and then we're all like, I think that would be the best time because it'll get us right back into the game.
I think that's a good idea. And plus, because as I mentioned before, and you guys know, I tend to leave a little earlier than the rest of you. You have some good fun, semi-serious game upstairs. Like you said, take a little break. And at least for me to end the day, it's okay. Let's make this happen. And it actually could draw a crowd too. Like if we would have done it this Saturday, would have had the little kids would have been watching and everything, and would have been interesting. Maybe we should have a battle where each side has like, oh no, that'd cost a lot of money. Give smokes to everybody in a 1v1.
Oh God,
that'd be pretty insane. It's taking it to another level.
You never know. You never know what you're going to get.
That could be on one of the sex dice.
Oh, I don't know. Look, like you put something simple like 2 TMCs, and there's no magazines in them because somewhere on the field there's 4 magazines, and you sure as better hope you at least find one first. So, and you can't. Could you imagine that? You can't barrel tag either the other person, not until you got a magazine in. So you got 2 guys like frantically searching, and that could be a good one.
That could be pretty cool.
Actually, really, 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 really like that idea.
Yeah. Even how about the one in the chamber? So like you have let's say 2 bonuses or 98s, and you have a pod pack on, like a pod on you, and you can only put 1 ball inside the marker at a time.
And you know what sucks too is when there's one ball left, half the time it doesn't even shoot. So that could be a lot of fun, actually. Oh, speaking of a
Man.
lot of fun, yesterday Connor and I are playing against those kids. So we're this scenario, all these little kids are running around. And we go to the parents, and it's like, I am so, and Andrew and all this, and my son, we just come out here to have fun. We're wondering, do you think the kids would have fun if they all played against Connor and I? You know, they have infinite lives, and they get us once, and we're dead. And they're like, yeah, they're going to think it's cool. And we had some smoke and everything. But it dawned when Connor and I were upstairs on the second floor waiting for it to start. It's like, are we really going to shoot these kids? And I guess Connor and I just before we knew it, it's like, okay, go upstairs. You went on the right side, I went on the left. It was at that moment that I decided, well, they got infinite lives. Those little balls, they shoot so straight. And it's like, well, and so I'm going to shoot one. And I shot one half-heartedly, and I hit the poor kid. And that's when I realized, hey, this shoot's kind of nice. Then see another kid, and I take it a little more seriously and pop that kid on the side of the shoulder. Next kid comes out off the top of the mask. It's like, this is good. And then I snapped back to reality, realizing what was going on, only because one of their little ones, one of their buddies came up the stairs and just laced into me and brought me back to earth.
They honestly weren't that. They were pretty good for kids. Like,
some of them were fearless.
No fear.
But it was almost like these little, you know, go, Mike.
I didn't think they were going to run up into the building so quick. Like, I really thought they were going to stay back and just kind of lay fire on the building. And within the first 30 seconds, there was 2 kids running through the door with their markers up, no fear. And I was like, oh, it's on. Like, I didn't think you were going to be expecting that either.
No,
yeah, but weren't you the one that said that when you play at, you used to play at LaSalle, that when you saw kids that were like 14 and 15, you knew you're going to be fucked up at the end of the night. They have no skill. They do not care.
Yeah, there's that smell in the air, smell of inevitability, fear, and pain.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the days that I left with the most bruises was at Army Globe when we showed up and played. What was it, with just a bunch of 10, 12, 13-year-olds? We definitely held back that day, but we got lit up for sure all day long.
Actually, it's funny because we've all seen it when you got the new players out on the field for the first time. It's like, how does it feel? And they turn their back. They go, come on, shoot me. And it's like, man, you better stand. It's like guys like 6 feet away. It's like, stand back a little more. And those younger guys you're talking about, Mike, is they won't just pop the guy once, like maybe on the top of the ass cheek or the back of the leg. Is they'll pop the guy like 5 times on the spine.
Yeah, they shoot till the guy runs away and they can't shoot him anymore.
Look, I think closing up the show, I think yesterday was, the games we played. There were so many elements of why I like going out with you guys that we're familiar with each other. We tried something different, played different games, had some new players we hadn't played with join again. There was a lot of serious firefights on Market where you guys were just, especially when I watched it from the sidelines, like just getting in there, digging in and firing away. Mike and Connor, for the last 2 games where I was just recording it, the communication between you 3. And I saw Nick coming up on the other side as well with his side. And I just really like how everyone was playing hard, but they were just having a good time. People were getting hit and somebody gets hit in the head. One guy says headshot and everybody just mocks him headshot and some good stuff. Oh, by the way, Connor's first game, brand new mask. Where did the first shot hit? Right upside the mask. It works.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Okay, so
I was talking to Mike today too, and we had that exact conversation too. It's like it's been a while where we had a day that was so fun, but yet so intense at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that's very important, and because the whole air of the group is, if we have teenagers join us, if we have a bachelor party, people that are apprehensive and that, is you play down with them a bit. Like, it's like, hey, let's have some fun with these guys. And even when we play amongst ourselves, sometimes we can have some serious games, but the respect and that we have for each other, the things you do and don't do, like when Nevin surprised me and I fell on my ass the other day. I mean, that's funny. It's things like that I absolutely love. I hit my
I still wish I had it on camera. It would be so fucking funny. And one of the refs, she had it on video, but the video didn't save, so she wasn't able to give it to us. But that would have been fucking hilarious.
I only want so much of that circulating around. That's for sure. Only so much. By the way, I failed to introduce.
I do want to bring up.
I want to. Oh, by the way, I forgot to introduce Nick at the beginning of the show. As of course we've referred to him the last few weeks as Mr. 380. Mike, you had something to say.
I just wanted to say we were.
Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. We were just talking about the intense fights, and that it was one of the last few games on market there with Mikey and Miranda. Pinned down at that one barrier. Miranda's watching right, Mikey's going left, and there was just nothing we could do. There was absolutely nothing we could do to like get them. They were holding down that spot so good. Even after I got taken out, I managed to capture the rest of that game from the sideline, and it was, I think, one of the most intense moments that I saw that day.
And what I like about that is, I will set this up. It'll probably be the second video I edit of the series, by the way. But so you got Connor on the, let's call it the east side of the map. Mike, you're more towards mid and going right. And we saw Miranda south of Connor. So Miranda's behind this barrier. Connor, who's really good at callouts, Miranda's there. I ran out of shots. I had 4 mags. I used them all. So I'm going to play bullshit, run around shooting air. It takes a few seconds sometimes to then realize you're shooting air. I just want to cause chaos. I go on the right side, and that's when I see it. Fucking Michelangelo's there. And the next thing I know, I'm out. So I'm out, and I'm standing there, and in front of me is Mike's coming. And I got Connor on the other side, and I'm the dead man, and I'm just sitting there, and like just waiting. And so Mike goes into a firefight with Michelangelo, and before he can win the firefight or tell Connor there's 2 of them back there, Mike is out. So me and Mike are standing there. We can't say anything to Connor, and there's 2 of them behind there, and I just walked there with my camera on behind Connor. It's like, he doesn't know what's going on. And Michelangelo, I guess, once he sensed that Connor was the last one yet left, he went around and tried to flank on him. But as he's going, that's when he realized, like, oh, Michelangelo's got this, right? And it's like, oh, shit, he's got the pump. So you got to be quick. So Connor's like, Miranda's over here, Connor's here, and I see Michelangelo coming around, and he's waiting and waiting. It's like, what's going to happen? All of a sudden, we hear the shots. The shot hits the barrel, but just as you fired your shot, Connor looked at you and shot at you, and you both ducked for cover. And then the shots, you started suppressing Connor. Then you heard it. Ba 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 ba. Connor runs out of air, puts his marker up. By the way, thank Miranda because she nailed that trigger real well. Took me a while. It took me a toothbrush to get all that paint off, and that was actually. So when you talk about that game was intense. That must have been that must have been 7 or 8 minutes. And for those of you who don't play, just play big scenarios, and that may not think that's a lot, but no, it was intense. And I don't want to fall for that trick again, Michelangelo, because you guys just had us hook, line, and sinker on that one. That was amazing, actually.
It was really intense, like behind the bunker, because it was really one of those like trust like your partner in battle situation. Like you stick right, I stick left. Like then like I hear like Josh just whizzing by my head, like the barrier getting shot next to me, and like as much as like I want to go right, or like Miranda was like wanting to go left, I was just like, no, stick to the game plan because this is our only way out of this, and it ended up working out to a certain degree. You know, it was pretty fun.
Connor's mentioning it was a crazy
if
game.
If I recall, because Miranda usually doesn't go through a whole hopper, even if she lasts the whole game. If I recall, she ran out of ammo that game and used some of yours, huh?
Yeah,
Teamwork, baby, teamwork.
She was like, "I'm running out of ammo." I'm like, "Not hell, no, you're not." Like, I was like,
No,
"Take
yeah, I
this."
need
I
you.
was like, "That's
I
not
need
happening,
you.
man. Not today."
Yeah,
I love that. That's what I
yeah.
love about paintball. That happens at D-Day a lot. That happens at D-Day 2 years ago when
Mm-hmm.
we pinned the enemy in, we encircled them, and they literally cut our supply line. So they were coming around. So it's like we had fresh guys coming in constantly so we could rotate, but no, they weren't coming in anymore. Then they got our medic. It's like, well, don't get hit. It's a long walk back. Then you start hearing da 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 da. They're running out of air. So guys, I'm out of air. Who wants the rest of my ammo? It's like, okay, got a bit of air. Yeah, I need ammo. And just random strangers are exchanging pods to keep you in there. And I
Yeah.
love that kind of stuff. Yeah, there was some classic. I'm
Yeah.
finding some real classic battle. Every time we come out now, we're having these epic, legendary moments, and until they don't happen, they just have an average day.
Well, we're getting used to playing each other, so we're knowing our everybody's tactics, and it's just gonna get better and better because as we're playing together, we're getting better and better playing together as well.
Yep. Well, actually, I'll give it that. I mean, yesterday when Nevin and Connor were together, they both kind of play the same style. I think they kind of feed off each other. So when both of them are on that team, I mean, I was on their team, but I mean, that's why I would assume. I mean, if Thomas is still listening, I mean, he ran in hard to start most of the games because he knew Nevin and Connor were gonna whip around, you know. And Michelangelo is like a freaking ninja. To have him and Thomas on the same team, I realize it's like, and then you got Nick with the firepower. But you're pretty nice, Nick. You didn't bring the box mag out right away. But when that came out, you asserted yourself. You leaned over the barrier and mark it, and you were just zoned in.
Oh, I was tapping it, but I didn't want to because the thing is playing MagFed, you're extending your paint longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to bring in the box mag because then I would have to end up buying another bag of freaking paint.
Yeah.
So that's why I only took it out in the afternoon. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get rid of whatever I got. I didn't have enough to start the next game with or next outing. So I'm like, I'm gonna be buying paint anyway next time. So let's just run what I got, and then once I'm done, I'll go home and that's it.
Well, Connor and I shot 2.5 bags of paint. Normally, honestly, it's very rare we go through more than a bag because I use the mags. There's a misconception with Connor runs a hopper, but he doesn't actually shoot a lot of paint. He kind of chooses his targets too. If he's facing Michelangelo with a pump, I mean, he's not going to let a series of shots go in. Or maybe he just tells me that and he just lights you up. But he's pretty efficient.
No, he was smart. He's smart with that. We were in a firefight. Oh, we were in actually that one you were talking about where he was dug out on the left and I was in the center. And I was just we were dug out so good. I was taking some unnecessary shots and he's like, hey, just conserve your ammo. This is going to be a long game. And he was right. I wasn't thinking about it. He's like, take smart shots, only if you see a kill. And, he's right. So
that game ran me like 300 balls. Like that game alone, I was just like, because I think I ran like 2 bags of paint that day. And I think it was that game alone that made me like really like hit a dent on like I guess the paint supply that day, and I was just like, shit.
Your
like, okay.
pump arm that game.
Yeah. Oh man, it got good. I got warmed up for the night.
I want to have your thoughts. Everybody running the Valken. Is everybody enjoy running the graffitis or what?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. This day and night, I didn't have a single issue.
I never shot him before, heard a lot about him, and I thought, how much better could they be? Boy, was I wrong. I don't even know how much more they cost. I'm just gonna get them. This plain and simple.
They're basically the same price as the Frostbites.
Okay. I mean, I like the regular blue ones we use, the member balls. They're fine, but those ones run so clean. It's so nice.
I think they're $3 more. The 500 balls, I think.
Oh, $3,
well,
no problem.
It's not that much of a difference.
I think
paint quality make.
Thomas shot 200 that day. Thomas, did you hear my apology for not seeing that shot you got me on, by the way? So I'll be able to sleep with a good conscience tonight. He's typing. Wait for the drama here.
It's-
Yep, no worries. There we go. That's the way I want to end this one.
It's funny with the balls because when I lent my my marker to one of the kids while I was eating my lunch, and he put his balls in, and the only time I had issue all day was with those white blue ones.
Oh, really?
I had 3 chop in the gun with the box mag from those guys.
Oh, shit. Well, it's not their fault or anything. Maybe they just had a bad
No,
bag, too.
No. It chopped on me. It was just there was a leftover of those Empire premiums in it, and that's what chopped inside of it.
I'll tell you one thing. The paint's much better than it was when I was there 2 years ago. And that's not saying that they were using shitty paint, but they've upgraded the paint. But the graffitis were like sick. And if there's an actual person, a really experienced, I mean, Thomas has seen a lot, but if there's somebody from outside our group who stumbles across this podcast, they may think we're idiots saying, of course they're good. But no, that was a real awakening for me on that one, especially when you're using MagFed, because it's a disadvantage. And I don't mind it. I like the way it feels. I like the way it happens. I appreciate all the other ways to play, like pump. I like how Michelangelo tries different things. But I like that. But it's also, for me, it's an equalizer with things. Although I'm not a great player. With playing with you guys, I should probably run a frickin' hopper. But yeah, I think I got, besides those little kids, I didn't really get too many hits. And not freezing Michelangelo on an obvious freeze.
Okay, honestly, Andrew, I've gotten worse. It's all good.
Yeah, Nevin took one where he shouldn't have. He got one between the legs yesterday, but it was a teammate. So like Norm gets one in the back of the head, Nevin gets one between the legs. It's yeah. All right. Anything else?
The last time I forgot my padded boxers with my cup in it, like I think I took I can't remember what I shoved down, but I shoved something down there because I don't go in there without something covering, because I got hit one time at Warzone. I had to leave early that day. It's not fun. It is not fun.
It's not.
It never is. It's a Debbie Downer way to end the show. Don't get hit in the balls, boys and girls. But it's like the advice I give new players. You ever play paintball before? Nope. That's pretty easy. Just don't get hit. You walk away and they figure it out. Should that be like, should we put that on like, we should put that on a morale patch for us. C1D, you'll figure it out. Which beats the, does that take over for don't be a dick?
No, don't be a dick is better.
Don't be a dick is universal.
I mean, you could also say don't be a dick, you'll figure it out.
Oh, we got some 200 IQ here. That's good. Good point with that. Okay, we're going to thank Michelangelo, Nick, and Mike. Producer Connor. It sounds like it's a real show, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I'll put some music in the background, fading out like some 70s game show thing. And we got Thomas there. Thomas was making chorizo there, so he had Cinco de Mayo, so he's probably 3 tequilas deep here while he's not on camera. And you know what? 3 tequilas deep sounds like a good way for me to transition out of this and fall asleep. All right. Thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Take it easy.
Boys.
Later, guys.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like us, rate us, and tell everybody about us. Thanks for listening.